Workflow rules are a way to automate a process. These rules can include actions such as alerts, tasks, field updates, and webhooks. They are executed when certain specified conditions are met. These rules automate the process of these actions when a rule is triggered. Before we begin, it's important to understand what workflow rules are and why they can be useful in saving us time. Workflow rules allow us to automate tasks that would otherwise become repetitive and waste time. For example, if a manager wanted to follow up with each of his sales reps to determine if they had any big leads come in, and then remind them throughout the week to follow up with them, that would take a lot of time and effort for a manager to complete. So instead, he can set up a workflow rule to automatically notify him if any sales reps add a new lead with, for example, 10 or more employees, as well as automatically create a follow-up task for the sales rep. In this video, we will walk you through how to set up your workflow rules so you can begin utilizing the features and benefits of this program. We're going to start by going to Setup. Then, under Automation, click Workflow. Then make sure you are on the Rules section. The steps to create a workflow rule are divided into 4 parts. In Part 1, we're going to specify the basic details of the rule. To get started, let's click Create Rule. Then, select the module this rule applies to from the drop-down list. You can enter a name for the rule here. Leave the status box checked if you want the rule to be active. Optionally, you can add a description for your reference, which is only visible by you. Then click Next to move on to Step 2. Now we can configure how the rule is executed. We have 5 options for doing this. Create. This will execute the rule when you create a new lead. Edit. This will execute the rule when you modify a previously created lead. Create or edit. This will execute the rule both when you create or edit a lead. Field update. This will execute the rule only when certain fields are changed. Delete. This will execute the rule when a lead is deleted. If you select the field update option, you can select up to 3 different fields to watch. You can execute the rule when all 3 change or when any of the 3 change. Once you've made a selection, click Next to move on to Step 3, where you can set the rule criteria. For example, you could choose that this rule only applies to companies with 10 or more employees by selecting Number of Employees, Greater Than, and then entering 10. You can add as many criteria as you'd like by clicking Add Criteria, and likewise can remove them by clicking Delete. Now, in Step 4, we can add either instant or time-based actions to this rule. In order to create a rule, we must have at least one action associated with it. It's also important to note that actions can be created independently of rules and can be assigned to multiple rules at once if desired. Actions have 2 main sections: instant actions or time-based actions. Let's start with instant actions. This allows you to choose one of the following 4 options. Send alerts. Send alerts can be used to send out emails. For example, if you wanted to notify a manager when a lead was created, you can click New, name it Manager, and select an email template and select Lead Owner's Manager. You can create and save your own unique email templates by clicking Create Templates. Then click Save and Associate. Additionally, you can add a second alert that can send a welcome email to the lead. To do this, create another new alert and call it Welcome, and select a welcome email template. Then add the lead email and click Save. You can also choose to add existing alerts to your workflow rule by clicking the folder to see existing actions. Then just add the ones you want and click Associate. Next, you can assign tasks. You can select an existing task you want to add, or click New to create a new one. Let's create a follow-up task that's due 3 days later by naming it Follow-up and then putting 3 in the box. We want to assign the task to the record owner, so we can leave the Assigned To category blank and it will do this automatically. Then we can choose to notify and/or remind the assignee if we want. Add a description and click Save and Associate. Field updates. Field updates are useful for automatically updating fields when certain conditions are met. For example, the rule we have just created only applies to companies with 10 or more employees, so we want to make sure they get our immediate attention. We can make sure of this by adding a field update to the Leads module and updating the lead status to Contact Immediately. Webhooks are a great way to automate communication with third-party applications. These work by sending instant web notifications. One example of this could be by sending automated SMS alerts to sales reps when your workflow rule is triggered. Time-based actions. Time-based actions have the same functionality as instant actions, but can be set to activate some amount of time after the rule was triggered. You can use all the same actions or different ones depending what you select. This can be useful for reminding sales reps to follow up with their leads without sending a duplicate welcome email to the lead. Click Save to complete your workflow rule. Your rule is now active. To see all your rules, click Rules. Additionally, you can create alerts, tasks, field updates, and webhooks individually by clicking on each of their respective tabs. For example, if we created an additional workflow task for leads, it will then be available under our Saved Tasks whenever we create a new rule for leads. This can be helpful for creating more complicated entries, such as webhooks or field updates.